All is now set, ladies and gentlemen, for the primaries, subject to the following guidelines and modalities. The party wishes to emphasize that the primary shall be conducted in strict compliance with the COVID-19 health protocols announced by His Excellency the President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Accordingly, the party, while making sure that not more than 100 people congregate at a polling center, will also be making available alcohol-based hand sanitizers at each polling stations for delegates to sanitize their hands before participating in the polls. Equally, the party has procured nose masks, which shall be given to each and every delegate. Now, on the guidelines and modalities for the primaries, voting day regulations. The primary shall be held, as I've stated, June 20, 2020 on electoral area basis per the Electoral Commission designations. We want to ensure that we will not have more than 100 people congregating as per the guidelines for public gathering. Voting shall be supervised by the Electoral Commission of Ghana, assisted by the respective national parliamentary vetting committees. Delegates shall comprise all polling station executives, all constituency executives, all electoral area coordinators, 5 members of the constituency council of elders, 5 members of constituency council of patrons, as well as any foundation member of the party from the constituency who was a signatory to the registration document of the party at the Electoral Commission in 1992. And I must state that if we say constituency executives, certain members of parliament are part of the constituency executive, so they all have voting rights, whether the person is contesting or not. The 5 members of the constituency council of elders, the 5 members of the council of patrons, all the members of the constituency executive, just as I have said, as well as those living founding members of our party who graciously appended their signature at the time we're registering the party. The polling station executive and electoral area coordinator shall be accredited to vote at the electoral area voting center. The constituency album, which has been broken down into electoral area album, shall be used to identify all delegates who are eligible to vote in the respective electoral areas. Delegates will be required to produce an NPP ID card or any other recognized national ID card to entitle them to vote. Ladies and gentlemen, you may ask whether if a delegate don't have this, whether he can be guaranteed for. I think that as part of the process, these are people who are known in the polling station. So that is also possible if anybody counts without a membership card and can be identified by the polling station chairman or electoral area coordinator in the area, that will also be accepted. We've also made provision for proxy voting, but anybody who votes proxy should be an accredited delegate to the conference. Voting starts at 7 a.m. and ends at 1 a.m. And ends at 1 p.m. I must emphasize that counting of votes starts after 1 p.m. in all electoral areas. So it doesn't matter whether you finish voting by 10 a.m. You have to wait till after 5 p.m. after 1 p.m. before you start counting at the electoral area. Each delegate will be required to thumbprint in front of his or her preferred candidate on the ballot paper that will be issued. A ballot paper will not be counted if it does not bear the official validating stamp of the commission. That is, if it is not thumbprinted by the delegate to clearly identify the preferred candidate he or she is casting the vote for. If it is not thumbprinted at all, if it is not thumbprinted more than one candidate on the ballot paper, it is thumbprinted in such a way that the choice of the delegate is not clear. These are instances where if it occurs, it will not be counted in your favor, or it will not be counted at all. Counting and declaration of results, as I've said. Counting of ballots will be done immediately after the close of polls at each electoral area polling center and at the constituency secretariat polling center. Ballots will be counted and declared by the EC presiding officer in the presence of the candidates' agents. Counting, just as I've stated, shall not begin until after 1 p.m. That is after the polls. Each candidate will be represented by one polling agent at each voting center. So you cannot come to a polling station as a candidate with more than one polling agent at a time. The results of each electoral area polling center and that of the constituency secretariat polling station will all be collated at the constituency secretariat, which shall be the constituency collation center. Only candidates and their agents, that's one each, will be allowed entry at the constituency collation center, all to ensure that we still respect the social distance protocols that has been enshrined and led by the president. The Electoral Commission's district officer at the constituency secretariat will do the final declaration of results for the constituency primaries. There are a few offenses that must be noted, and that if those offenses occurs, those offenses are not allowed in this election. That is, vote or attempt to vote more than once at the primaries will be disallowed. Buy or sell a vote will not be entertained. Compel somebody to vote in a particular way will not be entertained. Obstruct the delegate from freely exercising his or her right to vote will not be entertained. Display your marked ballot paper in such a way as to make it known to others. The candidates or make it known to others, or the candidates that you are voting for. That will not also be entertained. We will also not entertain taking of photos of how he or she voted in any particular way. That will also not be entertained. Well, most often you see that delegates may want to show that they voted for X or Y for whatever reason, I don't know. But we will not allow delegates to go to the polling center or the polling area with his or her phone in order for him or her to take a picture of where he voted.